Internet. This is Dale, and I'm with Jeff this week because Derek is too busy. I was going to be mean and petty and say he abandoned us, but he's just working too much because unlike everybody else who has breaks from the COVID thing, he somehow managed to get himself more work, and now he's just too busy to hang out with me on the podcast, little old me. But I got someone even better. I got hooked up with my friend Jeff Porter from the Fear of Science podcast. If you listen to that, we did a crossover episode where me and Derek, were on the Fear of Science for episode 16.
Oh God, episode number, I have no idea. You were on for Fear of Masculinity.
Yeah, because if you need someone to talk about the failings of masculinity, it's me and Derek.
You guys were great.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was great, but I'm pretty arrogant sometimes, so I don't know.
I love that before we recorded it, both of you were like, so am I the toxic man? I was like, no, that's not why I invited you on.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to. All right. Anyways, I can't find where it's actually live, so the same thing happens every week where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna pull up the video and watch it live and in Zoom and on Facebook, and then it's always like 30 seconds of me struggling at computering. So I will just ignore it.
Just assume it's all going well.
I found it. Guys, I knew what I was doing the whole time. I was just trying to humble myself in front of everybody by pretending I didn't.
Yeah. I'm so good at acting, Dale.
I have taken at least 2 acting courses at the college level.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you? That's actually where I met you, right? In college?
Yeah, university, yeah.
Yeah.
You were taking writing, right? And journalism, right?
I took journalism. I got my bachelor degree in journalism, and definitely using that, getting my money's worth for that. Well, actually, when I was in school for journalism, I started doing graphic design, like laying out a magazine in one of the journalism courses. And I was like, this is way better. Why don't I do this? So I kind of switched. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust. I switched to doing graphic design, and I ended up working as a graphic designer for newspapers for like 8 years. And then I was like, why don't I just completely not use my diploma and go into welding? So I went back to school for welding. And
you took the digital art and design program as well there, didn't you? Oh, you didn't end up taking it? Because that's what I took.
I have actually no training in graphic design, just like on-job training.
Oh, really? It's not really. I'm sure all the graphic designers are going to get pissed off for me for saying this, but there's so much you learn on the job.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I pretty much just spent a lot of money to do 2 years of it for no apparent reason.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like I found that school kind of taught you how to learn. Like, because if I would have just gone straight on to, so let me back up a couple seconds. So when I said that I didn't get any like graphic design training, I did kind of in school, whereas like there was a graphic design like course in the journalism program, and they kind of taught you the bare minimum basics of using InDesign and Photoshop. And then, yeah, like you said, it's basically the best way to learn InDesign and Photoshop is to just have it and then want to do something and not know how to do it and then figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, and it always works to learn. You learn more on the job because you're always like, I don't know how to do this. And then someone will come show you. And then you're like, oh, so that's how you do it.
Yeah, because I found when I graduated from university, I knew absolutely, like I actually I think I knew less about web design than I needed to know. And when I got into the field, I actually started learning. So yeah, I've been doing web design. Like I actually am using the education that I got, even though the program doesn't exist at all anymore. The digital art and design program at Thompson Rivers University.
Oh, really? Did they replace it with something, or they're like,
no, it's just gone.
Really? So they don't offer like website design anymore?
No. From what I heard is that the original program was very print centric. And then they decided to revamp it to be more focused on web.
Yeah.
And then when they came back and after they did the revamping, the president of the university was like, "No, we don't want it all anymore." And they just cut the entire program.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah, because if you're a university and you want to be like up to date with computers and stuff, you're going to have like have to sink quite a bit of money just into computers and stuff just to stay
Yeah.
up to date.
And this was like 2014. It's not like it was the early 90s or something like that. We're like, "Ooh, we should look into this computers thing." It was like 2014 where they're like, maybe we should look into web design. That seems to be pretty popular now.
Yeah, that's 2014 does seem like the time when computers were going out of date in like 6 months. Like now I feel like it's almost leveled off a bit where it's like if you have a computer that was top notch like 5 years ago, it's still good enough.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I
Hopefully
feel like
technology is
the
just
curve
getting,
is slowed down.
now is technology getting better, or is new stuff coming out not as advanced?
Um, yeah, that's a good point. I feel like technology really is probably hit at like a stalemate. Like the only thing, the next step they could go probably is like microcomputers, like
Hmm.
because you can't really make silicon chips and stuff any smaller than they are right now. I mean, I could totally be wrong because I'm not really a scientist at some computer factory where they're making all this stuff. But I'd
Yeah,
imagine that unless they invent like nanotechnology for computers or something, it's gonna slow down
yeah.
a bit.
Well, and if you think of like the most, what used to be the most innovative company in the world, the Apple.
Yeah.
When's the last time they actually made an iPhone that was any different than the other iPhone? All
Yeah,
they're
it's
doing now is just removing crap from it. They're like, no headphone jack for you.
yeah, getting rid of the headphone jack and then yeah, and then they got rid of the home button. But that was a couple generations ago, right? Where they got rid of the home
Yeah,
button. And then they were making them bigger and now they're like, "Oh, look, we made a small version as well."
yeah.
Guess
For
I
all you
guess
poor
yeah.
people that only have
Yeah,
$900 to spend on the phone rather than $1,500.
for people who maybe don't want to have a lot like a tablet in their pocket.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a
Oh, yeah.
Huawei P30, and it's gigantic.
Those are
It's
really good
like,
phones, though, aren't they?
oh yeah, I got it just for the camera
Yeah, yeah,
because it has like a 40 megapixel camera or something completely ridiculous,
yeah.
and it has like a 3 lens camera, and you can do, I think it's maybe 3 optical zoom and 10, and then another 10 digital. So it's like, if you don't know what that means, optical zoom means that the actual lens of the camera zooms in and the
Right.
picture stays the same size. But a digital zoom is they'll take the picture and they'll just zoom in on that. So like if you have a phone that only has digital zoom, you'll zoom in and it'll look all pixelated and crappy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Pixel 3a because of its camera as well. And it's been a great phone. Like I haven't even thought about getting a new phone,
Oh
which
yeah. How
it
long have
seems
you had
like
that?
I got it when it first came out. So how long ago was that? That was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had my P30 for 3 months or something, but I think it's at least a year old in the design because I got the P30. There's 3 different versions of the P30. There's the Pro, the P30, and then there's something else that's like a little downgraded, which has a camera. Like the P30 Pro has an even better camera.
It's called the poor person version.
Yeah, I got the signed a 2-year contract, so you just get the one you don't have to pay for version.
Oh yeah, most people go for that one.
So do you want to just keep talking about the stuff we own, or do you want to talk about some actual outrage stuff?
Sure, what do you lead the way?
Um, okay. How are you with politics? Are you paying attention to the US politics at all? I mean, it's hard not to, but
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I feel like when the apocalypse will happen, like I'll need to know this kind of stuff. So
Jeff,
I
the
need
apocalypse is happening right
it's
now.
happening right now.
I don't
It's
know if
happening
you know
really
this.
slowly.
Yeah, but this whole thing, like us staying in our houses is because this is the apocalypse. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
it's
man.
not Armageddon.
Yeah. I was I was out for a walk the other day.
Yeah.
We just went and got some coffee and just walked like 5 or 6 blocks, not even that far. And there were so many people not social distancing, not paying attention to any of the rules on Commercial Drive. And I was like, man, if there ever was a zombie apocalypse, we're screwed. We're so
Oh yeah.
totally screwed. Like, just
Because
because of people's stupidity.
and if they're like, there's a zombie apocalypse, don't go outside. Half the people will be like, I don't believe you. I'm going outside. You can't tell me not to go
Yeah.
outside. If I want to be a zombie, I'll be a zombie. You
My
can't
freedom
tell
of
me.
expression,
Yeah,
my
just
religious right.
yeah, this whole wearing a mask being some weird hill to die on thing is proof enough of that. Like everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh, if you make me wear a mask, you're taking away my rights and freedoms. And you're like, just wear one so people, I don't know. Like I'm at the age where it's like, I've just been totally cowed into like just going along with everything. Like I used to like dress all weird and like be a goth or semi-goth punk or whatever, but now it's just like, what's gonna get me to have the least side eyes? And then it's like I'll go, like we were just at Whole Foods today and I was like, maybe I should wear a mask for side eye. And then the girl's like, oh, you don't have to wear one. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's my right to not wear one. If they're like, you
Yeah.
can't come in here without wearing a mask, I'd be like, all right. Because
Yeah. I'll
Whole
get a
Foods is
mask.
nice. Yeah, because they hand you out like those blue paper masks that you could just breathe through, and they probably don't do much anyway. But
Yeah.
I mean, they stop you from expelling the microglobules out.
Yeah. And if everyone was wearing them, then it would definitely help.
Yeah,
Um,
there's that diagram where it's like, no people wearing one, you're 0% safe, and then you wearing one, you're like 30% safe, and the other person wearing one, you're 50, and then it's like the way to be the safest is you're both wearing masks and you're 6 feet apart.
yeah. My favorite diagram is the one that shows if someone pees their pants. Have you seen that one?
Oh,
If someone's not wearing pants and they pee, then it's going to get everywhere.
yeah.
If you're wearing pants and someone pees, then you might get pee on you, but at least it's not like totally on you.
Hmm.
And then if you're both wearing pants and someone pees their pants, then you don't get any pee on you. So
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure.
yeah.
um, yeah. Oh, the reason I was like, why were we talking about politics? But the Nancy Pelosi thing, did you hear about that when she said that
Oh yeah, called
you could?
him fat,
Mhm.
didn't she?
She called him morbidly obese, and
That's
then
worse than fat.
yeah, that's almost as bad as it gets. Like,
That's like a high-end fat.
yeah. Um, so what was happening is I think he put himself on a hydrochloroquine treatment, and she was
Yeah.
like, I don't know why anybody who's morbidly obese would want to go on hydrochloroquine. There's like so many side effects and stuff. And then yeah, whatever. Like I don't understand why anybody would want to get into a name calling fight with Trump
Oh,
because
I
he's
know.
just like,
He's the king of
yeah.
being a dick.
Like, and it's funny because the left the whole time they're like, we got to keep this presidential, we got to keep this whole thing like, because the only way to get Trump to like depower his like insult stuff is not to make fun of him, it's to take away his ability to use insults in
Yeah.
like the debates and stuff. So you got to be like, we're not going to insult each other and we're going to be nice guys or women. I mean,
Yeah.
we're still not down to the very end, but it's pretty close. And then the weird thing was, once she said that, everybody was like, oh, what she said was actually scientifically correct because that's a scientific term. And if he can't hurt it and it hurts his feelings, it's too bad for him. But it's like,
Yeah. Well, I think part of it was that the what's it called? The Cordia hydro whatever drug,
hydrochloroquine.
hydrochloroquine. It's supposed to be possibly dangerous for people who are in a certain age and of a certain weight.
Yeah. Just
And
like
so
COVID in
that I
general,
think she
right?
was trying to make that point.
Yeah.
But she's also very angry at him and doesn't like him at all. So I think it came
Yeah.
off a lot harsher than she probably even meant it to be.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's like morbid, saying someone's morbidly obese. I don't I'm pretty certain it was never a scientific term. Like the actual different classes of obesity is just class 1, 2, and 3 for, I guess, the severity of the obeseness. And because like people are like, oh, you just say morbidly obese when it's like super obese, but no, because the term morbidly obese, I think someone it's basically the same as saying grotesquely obese, and I don't
Yeah.
really feel like scientists
But it
ever.
would
I
have
mean,
been any better if she just would have called him obese.
yeah,
Yeah, you think?
because he probably
He's
actually
probably obese.
fairly certain he is obese because you only have to get to like 35 to 40 extra pounds of weight to be obese, and it's
Really?
like,
Oh
yeah,
man, I
dude,
am
it's
definitely obese.
yeah, no, it's actually pretty easy to be obese. So if you're like like 6 foot and you're supposed to weigh like 170 pounds or be like a skinny dude or whatever, and then you actually weigh like over 220, I think legally you're obese.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, well, it's one of the things where it's like everybody's always talking about how obese America is and stuff. And it's one of the things is it's actually pretty easy to be obese because once you start adding on the pounds of fat, like it's only takes um, body fat percentage of over 25% to actually be obese.
Wow.
And for women, it's 30 because it's healthier for women to have a little like extra body fat. I don't know. It's
Huh.
not me. I'm not being sexist. It's like the BMI scientists or whatever who figured that out.
Yeah.
Because when I first went to a gym, I got like a personal trainer who was like, "Let's talk about your goals and stuff." And I was like,
Were they doing it on the BMI though? Because isn't that like really disproven that the
"Yeah,
BMI doesn't
because
work?
BMI once you like put on because BMI doesn't account for muscles either. So
Yeah.
BMI just goes by body mass index. If you didn't know, it goes by height to weight ratio. So it's like if you're 6 foot, you should weigh this much, and it doesn't
Yeah.
account for like bone density or like muscular weight or whatever. That's why I like the body fat percentage because you could go in and they test like what they do is they send like you can't feel it, but they send a shock through you
Oh,
and it times how long the electricity takes to go through your body because it goes
because if you have more
through
fat, it's going to take longer.
yeah, so it's like muscle and bone.
Hmm.
It goes a certain weight because there's more water content or something than if it hits fat, it slows down. So, I
Hmm.
mean, you could probably argue that that's not like 100% precise either because, like, usually, or you can't use it now because of COVID and you're not allowed to touch anything. But a lot of London drugs where they have their blood pressure medicine thing where you put
Oh
your arm
yeah,
in.
yeah.
They had like a little one where you put your hands on it and then it has like the metal. So
Right.
it's like the Scientology thing where you hold the cans, but it's actual science and it
I think if they're shooting electricity through you, that has to be scientific.
oh
Electricity
definitely
is
like
science.
anytime there's electricity inside your body, you're doing science.
Yeah, yeah.
You should know about that because
I should.
we didn't actually cover your full background right now. Like you work at it used to be Science World. Do you guys still call it that?
No, we're still Science World.
Mm-hmm.
We are no longer Telus World of Science.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it went because it went. I remember when it changed from Science World to Telus World of Science, and everybody's like, "Oh, give us back our Science World or whatever." So now it's just Science World again.
Just Science World again. Yeah. So we never actually changed technically from Science World. What
Yeah.
ended up happening was that TELUS sponsored our building
Okay.
for I can't remember if it was 5 or 10 years. I think it was 10 years. And the contract for the sponsorship ran out. So
And
they
they didn't pick it back up.
they decided not to renew it.
Oh, so is that like how where like when an arena is owned by a company or sponsored
Yeah.
by a company, they put their name on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So all of our advertising that we did outside of the building, we were still Science World.
Yeah.
But if it was anything inside the building, we were Telus World of Science. So now it's actually
Oh.
just simplified things for us.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I can
so it's
imagine.
kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes your job way easier. You don't have to cram in Telus World of in front of all
Oh,
your
I know.
designs
It's
and
such a
stuff.
long name. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And now no longer people are going to come to Science World thinking they could pay their Telus bill because that happens a
Did that
lot.
happen?
Oh, all the time.
Oh,
All the
really?
time. Yeah.
Well, I guess so, because if you're like, maybe English isn't your strongest suit and you just see Telus, blah, 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 you're like, oh, it's Telus. I got a
Yeah.
Telus bill. I'll go there.
Yeah.
Now you're just going to get people showing up to pay their world bills.
Their world domination
Yeah.
bills.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So I work at Science World.
yeah.
I'm the digital designer and developer there. So I
Okay.
do. I'm the head of our videography team. I do. So I do our video editing and kind of
Ladies, videography, if you know what I mean.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of manage our websites, or part of the team that manage our websites, and yeah, I kind of do a lot of different digital things. I wear a lot of different hats there.
That sounds like a lot of responsibility. And I'm just going to stop you before you get into interview mode, because you're like, as soon as somebody says I wear a lot of different hats, it's like, oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Who knows?
That's like, it's like, this is blah, 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 what I do. And then it's just like, oh, this is getting a little too mature for this podcast. So let's just bring it back down a bit and talk about how people are yelling at each other on the internet.
Will this help making it less mature?
Very nice.
Yeah.
The best thing about having Jeff as your co-host is he comes with sound effects. Are you nice? Do you use those on Fear of Science?
No, not yet. I just got this program the other day.
Oh, so you're just testing it out on us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're officially the first podcast Jeff used his sound effects.
Yeah, I did use because this program also changes your voice, so I did use that while hanging out with a bunch of friends in Zoom the other day just to mess with them, but that was about it.
That's gonna add a level. Also, it might add a level to our over Zoom D&D games.
Oh, that's
We
true.
do
Yeah,
some
yeah.
voiceover stuff.
I can do like the evil villain voice for the entire D&D game.
Yeah. I guess, as if you didn't gather, Jeff is the DM of one of the D&D groups I play in, and it's fun. When was the last time we played?
It was kind of at the beginning of this quarantine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like 3 weeks. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know where we are.
They're all blurring together. It's weird because the days seem so long, but the weeks and months just whiz by. Like, I can't believe we've been doing this whole COVID quarantine thing for like 2 months already.
Yeah.
Even longer.
We played D&D either yesterday or 2 years ago. I'm not sure.
Ah. Well, we did we start like 2 years ago?
I don't know how long it's been. We don't meet that often because we all have very busy schedules.
Yeah. Not as busy as Derek, but busy enough.
That's true.
Okay.
But I do play in a regular game. I've played in the same game for 4 years every Sunday.
Every Sunday?
Every single Sunday.
Once a week? Wow. That's unprecedented for D&D.
I know, it's crazy. It's a good group too. It's been mainly the same people. We've had a couple people drop out of the group, and then when Jen and I started dating, she joined the group after we'd been dating for almost a year. But yeah, besides that, it's been largely the same group.
Would you say that D&D has brought you closer as a couple, or driven a wedge between you that's unrepairable?
Yeah. Second one for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Like, Jen is a massive World of Warcraft player. She played a lot when she was younger. And so she kind of knew the fundamentals of how D&D worked anyways. So it's kind of just taking her from digital to more analog, and she picked it up really quick. So cool. I think it brought us closer together because now we have this whole D&D community and everything that we can kind of riff on and joke about and buy dice and other crap for.
Make fun of Dale when he makes mistakes during the D&D campaign.
Yeah. When we're like, Dale, you're playing a barbarian. How hard is this?
Yeah. How come you can't remember how much your hits are?
Yeah. You're adding 4 to your roll. Come on.
How do you not know what your AC is? You look at it. You're looking at it on a piece of paper.
That's right. One of the guys that we play with, we've been playing with, he's been in the group for like 2 years now, I think.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, he just like totally zones out and he was like, what do I add to my role? And we're like, how do you not know this?
Yeah, you've been like my excuse is we only play like once every month or two, but if you're
Yeah.
playing every week, you should know that stuff. You should have it down pat.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's fun though. I like it.
That's good. Okay, so while we're talking about all this nerd stuff,
Oh yeah.
do you want to talk about this Snyder Cut?
Yeah.
So I didn't really know. I guess nobody knows what. Like, if you just say Snyder Cut, everybody's like, "What?" But what it was,
Don't add any context to that. Just
yeah,
let's just talk about
yeah,
Snyder
just the
Cut.
Snyder Cut. If you don't know what that is, then you're
Yeah.
not
You're
really
not enough of a
true
nerd to listen to this.
So it was Justice League was directed by Zack Snyder. Am I correct so far?
Yes, you did
Okay,
great.
so what happened was Zack Snyder was directing Justice League, that DC like supercast movie that came out that had Cyborg, Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, and who was the
That's all
bad
of them.
guy?
Aquaman, right?
Oh,
Aquaman's in it
Aquaman
too.
was in there. He wasn't the bad guy, but
No, he wasn't a bad guy.
the bad guy was some, I don't know. He's just one of those
Who the
like
hell was the bad guy in that?
he was like some alien demon guy.
Alien demon guy.
He was like the
I
guy
blocked that movie out of
who
my
had the
brain.
box. I thought it was good. He had the
Really?
box. He had the horns. He was like he
It's like
was.
geek charades here. He
Oh my
had
god,
horns. He had.
dude! If we don't know who this is, nobody's gonna know who it is. So, anyways, okay. Hey, now we can't spoil it. If we can't even name the villain
Yeah.
that was in the movie, we can't spoil by what happens to
Nobody has to worry about spoilers
unnamed
because we
villain.
don't remember specifics enough to spoil it.
So what happened was Zack Snyder was directing Justice League, and then he wanted to have like a darker take on the whole hero franchise thing because I don't know, they're just trying to get any piece of the pie that's left over after Marvel
Yeah.
pretty much chewed up everything. But he had a family emergency, so he had to leave before the end of before the movie was complete. And then was it Joss Whedon took over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Joss Whedon took over, and so he kind of had like him, Joss Whedon, and the production studio kind of had last say on the theatrical release
Mhm.
version of the movie. And apparently, and this was in 2016, and apparently Zack Snyder wasn't happy with the final cut, and so he wanted to get his own, I guess, how you could say, first director, because they can't call it director's cut because Joss Whedon did direct some of it, so they had to say,
Right.
so that's why they're calling it the Snyder cut instead of the director's cut. And
Yeah.
like this is a thing that's happened a lot in movies, like with a lot of movies you'll see the theatrical release will be basically the film producers trying to get as much money as they can by deciding on how the plot is progressed and the editing and stuff, which can actually change a lot of the movie. So this is basically like the director's cut they want out. And they kept being like, yo, release the director, like the Snyder cut. And it was like this sort of
Yeah.
thing. And then Aquaman, Jason Momoa was like, he referenced it like a year ago. And now HBO Max, which I'm not sure what that is. I think HBO
It's
Max
like
is a States thing.
yeah, it's like HBO, but it's to the max.
Thanks for clearing that up, Jeff.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
I definitely wouldn't have caught on to that.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's going to be HBO's streaming service in the States, which I thought was called HBO Go, but I'm not sure. So, anyways, they're going to put it there, and yeah, I guess
That's happening.
that'll be at the end of next year. But I just wanted to talk to you because Zack Snyder's movies that he directed that are DC didn't really go over too well. So will this Snyder cut even help anything?
He did Batman vs Superman, right?
Yeah, and he did Superman Returns. He did the last Superman movie, Man
Oh,
of Steel.
That wasn't a
which
good one either.
was a clunker.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, I'll probably watch it when it comes out.
Oh yeah, I'll
Like,
watch it because it's superheroes and the visual effects are awesome and the
what else
fighting
am I
is
gonna
great.
do?
Yeah, like
Um,
Batman drives a giant robot spider in it. Who's not gonna watch that?
I didn't like Justice League. Um, although I wonder if Zack Snyder wasn't involved, and if it was just 100% Joss Whedon movie, whether it would have been better.
Yeah,
Um, but
because it's like,
I'm also very biased. I'm a giant Marvel fan, and I've never really liked DC that much to begin with. I think that
yeah.
Superman is the lamest superhero in the world.
Oh, I'm with you 100p. The way I've always seen it is I like all the characters in Marvel better, but I've always felt like DC, like maybe not like Superman and Batman, but they always had like better storylines.
Yeah, just
Like,
not their main two franchises,
yeah, you know
but everything
those two
else.
tent poles that they pretty much prop up the entire franchise on. Those two, not so much. But yeah, so like especially when you get into Vertigo, which is
Mm,
I guess the most common Vertigo. Well, like Watchmen and stuff is DC, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then
Watchmen is amazing, and the HBO show for Watchmen was incredible as well.
oh yeah, and Titans was really good too.
Titans is good, and
And
we
the
actually just
Striker.
watched the first episode of Stargirl,
Oh, is
and
it
that
good?
it was incredible. It was so good. I
Yeah, I heard
love Luke
Joe
Wilson
McHale's in
though.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's in it kind of briefly, but
Oh,
he is hilarious in it.
nice. Is it more of just a cameo appearance?
I don't know. I think he'll be in it again more, but yeah,
Yeah.
not much in the first episode, but yeah, it was really well done. I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, so my whole thing was like if they make this the Snyder cut and he's the guy who did Batman versus Superman, which apparently everybody in the world hated, how is that
Yeah.
going to make a better movie?
Maybe it won't. Maybe we will just see a crappier version of the Justice League. Hey, here's
That
the Justice League, now crappier.
yeah, there was it's funny because like he's claimed like I mentioned it before, but he's claimed that he wanted like a darker version of the whole story. And then watch it's just going to be some like arbitrarily darker and it just doesn't work and it ends up being like slow.
Well, and I think that's what really failed in Batman versus Superman is that it was just, well, one, the storyline was horrible. It didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
Um,
like the future part where they're like, "Oh, this is what happens in the future." It's like you're just gonna smash cut. Oh, I swore.
I haven't done it at all.
Oh yeah. See, sorry guys. I guess I didn't tell everybody. I'm trying to. We're trying this whole. Let's make a podcast without swearing because I think my nephew's watching. So if you heard that, just ignore that part, and
Yeah.
then I'll beep it out.
Oh, that was the wrong one. I
Little
have
late on the
oh,
ding there,
here, hold
Jeff.
on.
There you go. But now I lost. Oh yeah. So yeah, because like in Batman v Superman, they just kind of smash cut to the future where Batman has Superman in the desert in a cave or something, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that was that dream he had that had
yeah,
like the reference to Darkseid in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, was that the actual future, or was he just dreaming of a possible? Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? But it was
So
so overly dark. And I think the parts of Justice League that I actually did enjoy were the non-dark parts, like the
yeah.
little bit of the humor. Like I loved the Flash in Justice League. I thought he was incredible.
Oh, I was
Um,
gonna say like, yeah, his brevity that he brought, like the
oh, he was
hilarity.
hilarious. Yeah.
Especially him and Ben Affleck's Batman. That was
Yeah.
so good. Like the whole like odd couple mechanic they had going back and forth, like when he was riding in the car and stuff. That
And
was
the
funny.
scene where he's moving he's speeding and then Superman's eyes like move and see him and he's like, "What the hell?" That was probably my favorite part of the entire movie.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, they're gonna make a Flash solo movie. Apparently in the
Oh,
next couple
with
years.
that guy as
Yeah,
well.
that guy's gonna be. I think he's so young. They could probably tap him for like 3 or 4 movies at least.
It's so weird. I don't remember his name, so I'm just going to say that guy.
I
Um,
don't. I don't think anybody who's gonna watch this is gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't remember the actor's name of Flash when I've
but
never
he's
seen him
really
in
good. Like
anything.
it's crazy the movies he did beforehand were so different because he was in Fantastic Beasts. We played the kid that had the magic that was like abused and stuff. And then
I didn't
have you
watch
ever
that.
seen
Sorry.
We Need to Talk About Kevin?
No, was he Kevin?
He was Kevin. Yeah, yeah.
Good
And
guess,
they
right?
talked about him.
I heard
But
about that movie. It's
that movie is messed up. That movie, it's so good, but it's so
yeah.
messed up.
Oh wait, I think is that the one with like the bow and arrow? I'm trying not to spoil
Yes,
it.
yes,
Okay,
it is.
I think I watched the last 3 quarters of that. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I guess that was him.
same dude.
Hmm. Very interesting. Okay, we're already on superheroes. We're already on DC. What do you think about the new Batman's name? What's his name? Pattinson.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. He was like, "Yeah, so I'm not going to work out for this Batman."
I heard that he was kind of trolling people for that, though.
Oh yeah, like I feel like yeah, because he was like, I want it to be more like the classic Batman, where he's not all ripped and all muscles. And I was like, isn't don't you have to? Are you isn't that
Yeah, I
one of
don't
the
know.
reasons you get it? Because you have to like you just have to work out? Like,
But yeah, Adam West wasn't very buff, and really, Val Kilmer wasn't insanely buff either.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like it'll be like Kilmer Batman, where it was like he was just a dude. But it's like I don't know, to me, like, I guess just like if you're going to get nitpicky about it, I feel like if Batman was real, he would be ripped because he's like trained in these martial arts and he went to like Nanda Parbat and he's like
Yeah,
part
but
monk, part like super
if
rich
you were
guy.
Bruce Wayne and you weren't ripped at all, and then Batman is super ripped, wouldn't that be like the ultimate disguise?
Wait,
They're
what
like,
do you
well, it's obviously not Bruce Wayne. He has like no muscles at all.
that would be yeah, like Bruce Wayne just wears a fat suit. They're like, who could Batman be? And then they just pan to like Bruce Wayne, and he's
Yeah,
like
it's not that morbidly obese Bruce Wayne.
walk. He's like walking upstairs, just sweating. He's like, and they're like, well, it's not that guy. He sucks. There's no way that guy's a superhero. He can't even do stairs.
Genius.
Yeah.
Got nothing on Superman and his glasses.
I mean, you should call them and see if they can work that into the movie.
Oh, they got Fat Thor now. You might as well
Yeah.
throw in
Yeah.
overweight Bruce Wayne.
Okay. So since we talked about all the Batmans, how about this? I'll put you on the spot. Rank the Batmans.
Oh, that's a good
Mhm.
question.
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
you don't have to say Bale if you don't want to. I know a lot of people pretend he's the best Batman.
I don't know if I'd put Bale first.
No,
Yeah,
put him in front of Clooney, but that's about it.
I think I'd say Val Kilmer first.
Yeah.
Because Val Kilmer was like when I first started getting into Batman.
Hmm.
That was when was it? It was just called Batman, wasn't it? The one he was in.
He
Batman?
was in Batman Forever.
Batman Forever, right?
It was with Jim Carrey and Uma Thurman and Tommy Lee Jones, the bad guys.
Oh yeah, it was Two Face. Oh man, Tommy Lee Jones was the best Two Face.
Oh yeah,
He
and
was so good.
Jim Carrey is the Riddler.
Yeah, that was such
Super
great
good.
casting.
Yeah. That was
But
back when hero movies had multiple bad guys and one hero, as opposed to
yeah,
now where they have 5 heroes and one bad guy.
yeah. Oh, the good old days. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
Kilmer first.
Mhm.
Then I think Keaton.
Yeah.
Then I would say Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Then Affleck.
Really? You're going to put Affleck that low?
Yeah. I don't I thought I don't know. He was an okay Batman.
Yeah.
I think just the movie's sucking. He didn't really have much of a chance
Yeah.
to be as good of a Batman as he could have been.
I would say he's for sure the best. Like his bat suit was the best, but that really doesn't have anything to do with him because it was like the short-eared Batman instead of
Yeah.
like the long skinny. So my ranking would be Val Kilmer, not necessarily because his Batman was so strong, but he was my favorite Bruce Wayne for sure.
Oh, he was a really good Bruce Wayne.
And then you got to go Michael Keaton because Michael
Yeah.
Keaton can like act the pants off anybody. Then I'd say Affleck.
Oh, really?
Then I'd say, yeah, because I don't know, for some reason, Affleck, like, I don't know if it's because we all just watched him go through that divorce with Jennifer Gardner, but he somehow, you're like, yeah, he's sad Batman. Like, when you saw Ben Affleck as Batman, you're like, yeah, he did go through some trauma as a child and he's still emotionally broken. I totally believe it. And
Yeah.
that might just be because Ben Affleck was in a bad spot in his personal life.
He wasn't
He kind of
acting.
just tapped into something. Yeah. And then Bale. And the reason, like, it's like everybody loves Bale. And I don't know. For me, for Bale, it just seemed like he was trying too hard. Like he's like his Bruce Wayne was easily the worst. But he was like,
Yeah.
look at how hard I'm trying at acting. And you're like, okay, Christian Bale, we get it. You're Batman. He's
Calm
like,
down.
do you get it? And I mean, maybe I have
You can't
sympathy.
even slightly do a Batman voice.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say how much I hated his Batman voice, and we all just saw how hard it is to do a Batman voice. Apparently, I can't do it.
You can't do it at
So
all.
maybe it's hard. Oh, that was one of the reasons why I liked Affleck was because he had a really good Batman voice.
Yeah.
And then George Clooney, because that movie was just
Would you put
a train
Clooney
wreck.
before Adam West? Because we forgot Adam
Oh,
West in there.
I wasn't counting the
The
serial.
original Batman.
I guess was in movies. I would put, like, if you're going, like, the funny thing is George Clooney is the most Adam West style Batman, where it's just like
Yeah.
the top cheesy.
Yeah. And
But
I don't know
yeah,
if can we give Clooney crap for that movie being so horrible? Like
mm,
if that movie wasn't so cheesy and horrible, would Clooney have been a better Batman?
yeah, maybe, because that movie also had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and I don't even like it. And I love Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't
Like,
know.
when
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was probably the best part of that movie for me.
yeah, but that's not saying much.
No, it's
Because that
not.
movie was trash. Actually, I would say if we were going to include series, like the animated Batman, I don't even know the
Oh,
guy who did his voice, but he had for sure the best Batman voice.
all I remember is Mark Hamill did the Joker.
Oh, that was also a very good Joker voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I love really bad puns, and I
Who
think
doesn't? I mean,
yeah,
if you've
and that
listened to
was
this
the entire
podcast
reason
before.
I love Batman and Robin was just for Arnold Schwarzenegger's ice puns.
Oh, yeah. Did the Riddler have a lot of puns in it? You know what
I
we
don't
should
know.
do? We should watch all those movies again, start to
Oh,
finish. All was there 6, 7? No,
there's
because there's
Batman,
There's two Keaton ones. Val Kilmer, um, Clooney,
then
3 Christian
two.
Bales.
Was it three Christian Bales?
Yeah, and
Ah,
um, then Batman versus Superman. Then Justice League. Are we counting the other one that he was in as like a cameo? The one where Jared Leto was Joker? What was that?
oh no,
Doomsday Squad? No, that's
Suicide
another.
Squad,
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Doomsday Squad. I
Yeah.
like that too,
So,
though.
would
No,
we
I don't want to
count
watch
that?
Suicide Squad again, anyways.
Okay, so all 9 Batman movies. Well, we won't count Suicide Squad. Just watch those front to back.
Wow, that'd be a lot.
That's a
Uh,
lot. That's a lot
I'd
of
do it
Batman.
for sure. You want to do it right now?
Yeah,
During
just
we'll
turn
just
the
do this
podcast off and then
podcast.
just watch them till tomorrow.
No, I was thinking we can do the podcast at the same time while
Yeah,
watching them.
it'll
It's
just be
just
us being like, "Oh, that's funny. I don't remember that part." Oh,
we don't even
yeah,
talk about the movies at all. It's just us watching them.
yeah. It's always funny because it's like that whole Mystery Science Theater 3000 where you're like, "Oh, let's watch a movie and then we'll talk about how bad the movie is," and then you just like start talking about stuff that's not the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I rewatched last night actually.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Tron. Um, and to be honest, I don't know if I've actually seen the first Tron before. I
Oh,
thought
it's
it was, I thought I had seen it when I was a kid.
mm-hmm.
But when we were watching it, I'm like, I don't remember any of this in the
Yeah.
least little bit.
I think it might have just been it was in the zeitgeist so much, and you saw references and
That's what
clips
I
of
was
it
saying. Yeah,
and
I
other
think
stuff
I've
that you
I've seen
thought you
clips of it
watched
so
it.
much I put it together.
Yeah.
But it was a weird movie. Like it was good.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It's
And then we watched Tron Legacy afterwards. Tron Legacy was amazing. That was an
yeah.
amazing movie.
Oh, especially if you watch the first Tron beforehand.
Yeah.
It's just that much better.
Well, the references in it, I would actually recommend watching Tron and Tron Legacy back to back because there's
Oh
so
yeah.
many just beautiful references in Tron Legacy that I didn't even realize were in it the first time I watched it at all.
Oh yeah, because I watched it in the theater, and yeah, and then you kind of don't get all that stuff. Plus, it had a killer soundtrack by Daft
Oh,
Punk.
Daft Punk, yeah,
Yeah, it
so
was a
good.
super good soundtrack.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little sidetracked on something totally different there.
No, that's there's a reason why one of the nicknames for this podcast is Tangeant Factory, because we just go off on tangents.
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah, so I feel like we've talked about enough Batman. Anything else to say on Batman before we move on?
No, I don't think so. But I was gonna say, out of the entire DC universe, the only character that I really find interesting, besides Doom Patrol, we didn't talk about Doom Patrol,
Oh, Doom Patrol is good.
and Doom Patrol is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that show is incredible.
Yeah, Brendan,
But
like a nice revamp for Brendan Fraser. If
oh
you're
yeah,
sick
I
of
love
not
Brendan
seeing him.
Fraser. Talk about
Speaking
someone
of
who's
yeah,
had a crap life.
yeah. Speaking of not swearing on the podcast, that movie is Brendan Fraser's character is pretty much swearing the entire time.
Yeah, yeah, true.
What do you mean he had a crap life? What happened to him?
Oh, Brendan Fraser, he had a really bad divorce, and he lost like all of his money.
Well, that
And
sucks.
yeah, he went through a lot of crap, and I think he became an alcoholic or addicted to drugs or something like that,
Yeah, that all
which is why he
sounds
disappeared for a long time.
that all sounds like failing actor territory.
Yeah, yeah, but he pulled himself out and is able to get back into, like, if you think he kind of disappeared for almost 20 years. Like, when was The Mummy, the
Oh
second one?
wow, yeah, that
That was
was a
like
long time
this.
ago.
That was like the last movie he did, and now he's come back
No,
after
he
that.
did that. He did that bomb, the furry one. What
The
was it
furry
called?
one.
There was one where he was moving into a house in the suburbs and it was beside a forest and then he like started talking to the animals. I
Oh
can't remember,
God.
but it was like nobody saw it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's
Yeah, I have no
pretty much
idea.
all right.
I love that we're both sitting in front of computers and we can fact check literally anything we want, but neither one of us are at all.
It's like that argument. It's like, what was that movie? Brendan Fraser was it? Or like,
Yeah.
who was the bad guy in Justice League? And we just like, the whole audience is just like, oh my God, it was this person or is this movie? You know what? I'm going to Google that because
Just
I
taking it
feel
back
like,
to the 90s before we had the internet to solve all of the.
yeah,
It's
because,
like, well, we don't know the information and one day we'll learn it.
yeah, now that we said you can look it up, we have to look it up pretty much. Let's see.
Oh, but I was going to say my favorite DC character that they've never done a good job of is Green Lantern. I love
Oh,
Green Lantern.
yeah. Like a nice like a good Green Lantern movie. They
Yeah.
definitely need one because that whole Ryan Reynolds one.
I rewatched the Ryan Reynolds one not that long ago. Well,
Yeah.
I guess it was a while ago now. It was before COVID. But it was at the Rio Theater. They did the Gentleman Hecklers where they make fun of the movie and they
Oh, yeah.
played the Green Lantern. And even with the Gentleman Hecklers, who are hilarious, making fun of it, it was still a painful movie to watch. Like, it got halfway through that movie and you're like, is this over yet? Is it done? How much more of this do I have to watch till I can go home and not be watching this anymore?
Yeah. So the last movie Brendan Fraser was in was Breakout in 2013.
Breakout.
Yeah. And the movie I was thinking about with the animals was called Furry Vengeance.
I've never even heard of that.
You're not missing much.
Was it about furries?
I think it was before the furry entered everybody's lexicon, back when
Oh,
everybody still didn't know what they were and they were just like, oh, those are freaks.
Did that movie invent furries? Did it invent the term furry?
No, I think all the furries that were in it were actual like little animals.
Oh,
Well,
that's
there is a grizzly
disappointing.
bear in it or something. I don't know.
I'm
I guess
gonna
the last.
say I'm
Sorry,
gonna say that that movie invented furries.
we can all blame Brendan Fraser for the
Brendan
invention
Fraser's
of
fault.
fur. The last big movie he was in though was GI Joe.
G.I. Joe, really? He was in
Yeah,
G.I. Joe?
he was. Yeah, he was. I think he had like a cameo where he died at the beginning.
Oh,
Oh, I can't remember his name in that. Which character he was? Because
Joe?
there's no, he wasn't Joe.
He
He
wasn't
was
Joe.
I think he was the drill sergeant. I want to say. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Sure, yeah, let's say that.
sure. So back to politics.
Oh,
Everybody,
politics, right?
the two things that the people love to hear about most is
Comic book stuff and politics.
yeah, exactly. So Joe Biden, did you hear what he did?
Oh, no.
So he was on I think it was a radio show. I don't know. It's so hard. It's like because he was like talking to Charmaine the God, I think. Is that his name?
Charmaine the God, who's that?
Or Charmaine the I don't know.
Charlemagne?
Yeah. He's like some
Like the
like
rapper,
yeah,
Charlemagne.
the
Okay,
the
yeah.
the rapper slash podcast slash radio, maybe serious show. So Joe Biden was on there and they were talking about it at the end and something happened and Joe said to Charlemagne, if you're still on the fence about picking, or if you don't know who you want to be president between me and Trump, then you ain't black. And
Whoa!
right? Like, and that was like pretty crazy to say. So now it's just turned into this whole big thing as you would expect it would be because that and the whole like sexual abuse class or sexual
Oh,
attack
yeah, with
class thing from Amber
Tara Reid.
Heard.
That's not Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber Heard was the Johnny Depp one. Yeah. Tara Reid. That's not Tara Reid. Yeah. So those two things combined, I don't know. He might be sunk. So, and then I saw today that Trump made shirts that say hashtag you ain't black, Joe Biden
Oh,
underneath, and he's selling those shirts. So it's like,
no.
it's back to what we were saying before with the Pelosi thing where it's like, you can't just be giving Trump layups like this.
Yeah. It's just, I'm saddened that it's like, I don't hate Joe Biden or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just sad that it's going to be between Joe Biden and Trump. I
Yeah,
just
like
wish there was someone like, I love Bernie. I wish that Bernie would have kept going, or
yeah.
like literally anybody else.
Like all the people who dropped out before COVID, like maybe one of them could come back.
Yeah.
Like Tulsi Gabbard or Yang or I don't know. But like this does not look good. Like this late in the game and to be down to just Biden and it's like it's not even that. Like even if he didn't say this, there's all the like they don't know how well his health is. Like they're saying that
Yeah.
like he's not fully there. Like he might be like having like early onset dementia symptoms and stuff like that. And it's like, sure, Trump fucking Trump is a madman, but you
Talk
don't.
about Trump and not swear.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you don't want Trump to have the country, but are you willing to hand it off to an old man who is maybe losing? Maybe by the end of this, he's just as rough around the edges as Trump. If he's like,
Yeah.
even if he's like, he wasn't like, I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry. Like what he did was like, oh, it was a joke. I was just making a joke. Like,
Can they have a third option in America where it's just neither? My choice. Instead of Trump
yeah,
or Biden,
yeah,
just nobody. There's just no president for a while. Just 4 years, just one term, no
yeah.
president. Government's not shutting down. Everything's staying exactly the same. There's just no president
Yeah,
at all.
that might actually work if they went from being like, yeah, because Biden's basic whole campaign platform is I'm not Trump. So
Yeah,
if you had like anybody can be not Trump and it should be able to be not racist at the same time.
Yeah. You know what the nice thing about having the third choice of nobody is that they're not going to say something bad. They're not going to say anything racist. It's going to be a totally good campaign. I
It'll be
swear.
like, it'll just be like, no one, 2020.
It's just a blank. It's like an Apple advertisement, just a white screen. Nobody.
Yeah, it'll just be
It's a
like
30-second clip for the commercial of just the word nobody and then a URL.
yeah.
You go to the website and it just says nobody.
Yeah, it'll be like the slogan will just be like maybe having someone actively not being terrible.
Yeah. Nobody. Not Trump or Biden. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. The only way to not get your feelings hurt, 2020.
Yeah. I feel like if that actually happened, I know there's no actual legal way of doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that most Americans would probably vote for nobody. I think nobody would do pretty well.
Yeah, nobody's the candidate of the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who we need? We need nobody. That's who we need. We don't need nobody.
Yeah, you know who could do better? Nobody.
Nobody can do better than Trump. Trump could even say that and promote him. He'd be like, nobody can do better than me. You're right.
Yeah,
nobody can do better than you.
Nobody would be a better president than me. And
Yeah.
he'd be like, yeah, he would.
You're right.
Or she.
Nobody would be better. Yeah.
Nobody doesn't have to be gender specific.
That's true.
That's for sure.
Nobody has a race or gender or sexual orientation. President. Yeah. I think it's brilliant.
I think yeah, we should definitely launch that. Just start a grassroots social media campaign for nobody.
I could design that website.
Oh man, that'd be good. Like those old Obama Hope posters. They'll just say no one and have like a silhouette.
Yeah, I love it. We have solved the American political system.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So, did you hear about Paul Brandt?
Oh yeah, so I hadn't, but you mentioned that was one of the topics we might talk about. Mm-hmm. So I looked it up because one, I couldn't remember who Paul Brandt was, and two, I was like, well, okay, so yeah, so he's the country. I thought he was when I first saw it. I was like, isn't that the country music dude?
Isn't it? I thought.
Yeah, it totally is. Dude, yeah,
yeah.
So he is now one of the heads of human trafficking in Alberta.
Yeah, I think it's like
he's not doing human trafficking. He's stopping.
Yeah, the human trafficking task force. I think he's heading it up. Which, I mean, I guess I should have looked into it, but I've heard that he has like some experience in the whole thing, and some people were saying that it's a bad idea because if you have a celebrity in that sort of situation, then you'll get unwanted attention on it. But I feel like, wouldn't you want that attention on such a terrible subject?
Well, it's not like Paul Brandt is going out there stopping the human trafficking and going undercover or something like that. It's like, oh, people probably shouldn't know Paul Brandt is doing that. Yes, I agree with that. But if he's just part of a task force to stop human trafficking, I don't think the celebrity, and really, it's Paul Brandt. Is he that much of a celebrity?
I don't know. It's so hard for me to know because I'm not really familiar with like country music. I thought he was pretty famous, but it might just be that I thought he was famous because he's from Calgary, right?
Well, I think that's it, is that he is famous, one, in country music, which is already one step down for actually being famous. And then two, in Canada, another step down. And three, in Alberta only. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense to if Paul Brandt is listening to this. I apologize to Paul Brandt.
No, I'm happy that even though he's not like an A-list celebrity, I'm happy that there's a celebrity in that position because it's just going to draw more eyes on the subject and then maybe
Yeah.
help out its cause.
I didn't know there was that much human trafficking in Alberta, but I guess so.
Is it just Alberta or is it Canada?
I think it's just for Alberta.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you get to the more remote locations like Fort Mac and stuff, you have to deal with like human trafficking in like underpaid workers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if
Well, and I'm
you're
assuming it's not just human trafficking in Alberta. Like it's it's like, oh, they came from another country. Sorry, we just do Alberta.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we only deal with Alberta citizens being moved around.
Let me see your driver's license. Oh, you're not from Alberta? No, you're on your own.
You're just from BC. You came here to work. Sorry, we can't help you out. You're gonna have to talk to a British
The
Columbia.
BC human trafficking.
Yeah, a British Columbia famous country music star.
I was gonna say that's led by Mark Madrigas. That's the only like the weather guy from the news. That's like, I feel like that's the level of Paul Brandt celebrity.
I mean, that might be the best guy to get in there, the weather guy, because he could have a whole bunch of ties in the media newsroom, so he might know how to get stuff done.
That's true. I can't name, but can you name a single country musician from British Columbia?
I don't even know if I can name that many other country musicians from the world. Or from Canada, at least.
Let's see how many country musicians we can name.
Okay.
Oh, crap. Garth Brooks.
Yeah. I mean, he's active again, too, so, that was almost, he's not really a country singer anymore because he retired, but I guess he's back now.
He's
so
back?
Oh. Yeah. Or I don't know if he was back. He was doing like some social media stuff, I know, and like trying to like do some stuff on Twitter, but that was a couple of years ago. I don't know if he's recorded any music. Let me just Google that.
I've actually met Paul Brandt.
Oh, you have? Is he nice?
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed nice. It's not much of a story. I wasn't going to bring it up at first because it's such a non-story, but now I'm going to tell it. When I worked at a design firm when I lived in Kamloops, and we did a lot of the advertising for a local casino that did a lot of like concerts and things like that. So one of the concerts they did was for Paul Brandt when he was starting off in his career.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he came into the design firm one time for one of the meetings when he was designing his poster.
Yeah.
And I met him, and he was nice.
Oh, cool.
I have the exact same story for Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh, really? Was she also nice? And
yeah, she was nice.
You were also designing a poster for Carly Rae Jepsen?
Yeah, for the exact same casino that she played at. That was back when she was a country music singer.
Was this before that song?
This is way before Call Me Maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah. Derek's going to be so mad. He loves that song. And
really?
Like, I know that song. You guys.
Well, that's what he gets for not being here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the last Garth Brooks album was 2016, so.
That's not that long ago.
No, that would have been on the comeback, I guess.
Yeah.
Post-comeback.
Wow.
I guess that shows me.
So we've named one country musician.
Oh, yeah. Brooks and Dunn, are they still
around? Yeah, that's musicians. Terry Clark.
Yeah.
I think she's Canadian, too.
Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, Dwight Yoakam, yeah. My uncle, I don't know if he still, I don't really talk to him that much, but my uncle used to have a country music band, a cover band in Winnipeg, Manitoba, that did mainly Dwight Yoakam covers.
Nice. What was their band name?
Porter and Peterson.
Oh, it wasn't
the name of his wife was Peterson. Yeah.
Oh, it should have been a pun off of a Dwight Yoakam song.
Yeah.
That's always the best. Or the title of a Yoakam song.
Maybe Porter and Peterson is the name of a Dwight Yoakam song. For literally all I know about Dwight Yoakam.
That would actually be very coincidental if their names were
Porter and Peterson. Yeah. And there was a song called Porter and Peterson. That'd be pretty amazing.
That'd be pretty great, actually.
They're like,
Um,
we're meant to do this. It's fate.
who's the guy who sang "Fished in the Dark"?
Oh, wasn't that Dwight Yoakam?
No.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, that song.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy Travis. He's a
Oh, is that Randy Travis who sang that song?
no, that's
Oh, that's just
not.
someone else.
Randy Travis is he's like one of those super religious country music singers. So he was like gospel / country, a lot of it.
Oh,
Um,
Keith Urban.
yeah, there's
I
a
actually like
guy.
Keith Urban.
Cool. I'm not sure I do. I can't. I
He's
can't
not
even
bad. He's
think
like
of
one
it.
of those like new age country singers. So it's not. It's kind of countryish, but there's not as much twang.
That'd be good.
You know what's weird is I don't like country music, but
Good.
I
End it
love
there.
blue. That's
End
it.
of sentence. I don't like country music.
But
I
I love
personally,
bluegrass. I love bluegrass music.
well, see, I think the reason is you probably don't mind the twang. You just hate how up their own butt emotionally country singers are, because it feels like every country music song is about feelings. And
I don't mind songs about feelings.
yeah, see, it's kind of weird because it's like it's one of those things that's ruined by its audience, because all of all of country fans are like rednecks who are like hicks, and they're all like, we're big and tough, we don't like talking about stuff and being emotionally involved. And then you look at the music they're listening to, and it's all just straight feelings, like a guy singing about how
His
he's
cow died.
sad. Yeah, he's sad, and how he used to remember how the good old times were, or how much he likes to hang out with his friends and fish, or some other stuff. I think we just alienated the Outrage Factory country music fan.
Yeah. You've lost all one of those fans. They're gone.
Oh no. Whatever will we do? We'll just have to get go into some other
Now some
obscure
trivia.
music.
Some
Yeah.
trivia for you. Can you name Paul Brandt's big hit or one of his
No.
big hits? Any one of his. Name one of his songs. I'm pulling it back to
I
literally any
can't.
song.
I'm sorry, Paul Brandt. I'm not familiar with your catalog.
Damn it. He's saving people from being
Traffic.
trafficked.
He
He's saving
is.
traffic.
Oh. Okay.
Uh, so he had kind of, well, two big songs. His
Mhm.
big one was Convoy,
A
which I
cover?
tried. Is it a cover?
Yeah,
Convoy?
dude, Convoy was a movie, and I think the only reason anybody would know what Convoy was because Homer sang it in the Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
Um, so Convoy was a movie. I'm thinking it was Chris Christopherson who sang the original.
Yeah, I don't know if
Let
it's
me
cover
just
then.
Google that as well, since this is just like Google
Just
Factory.
Dale on his phone googling
Oh
stuff.
man.
I keep forgetting that this program has shortcut keys attached to the different sounds. So I'm just typing. So that was because I typed Paul, and you is
I thought you did that on purpose. Like this was some big dramatic reveal. The
dude.
singer of the original Convoy song. Smash cut to the courtroom, and the original singer was C.W. McCall. I've never
Oh,
heard of that person. But look, it's COVID. We're all stuck in our houses. We're all bored. If you want to watch a good movie about semi trucks driving from one place to another, Convoy's your movie, because it has semi trucks
I
driving
don't
from
want
one
to
place
watch
to
that at
another.
all.
I want to say it's funny, but it might have been little kid me thinking it was funny. I remember enjoying
Is it
it
like
quite
funny
thoroughly.
bad?
Um, I think it's funny, like 80s funny, but not like slapstick funny, just like gruff jokes and stuff. I
Oh,
remember because it's weird because I keep thinking of this stuff. There's this one part where there's like an African American semi truck driver who drives a white truck, like her semi truck is white, and it flips on the road because she goes around a corner too fast. And then she says, GD white truck. I knew I should have bought me a black truck. And I thought that was funny when I was a kid.
I don't even understand what's funny about it.
Because she was blaming on her bad driving on the fact that the truck was white. It's like a reverse racism type of
It was
joke.
too highbrow for me. I didn't get it.
Especially like when that movie came out, because it came out early 80s. That must have been like pretty risque.
Was anyone famous in Convoy?
Maybe because there's the head truck guy who led the convoy. His name was Rubber Ducky, I think.
I thought for a moment that was the name of the actor. Rubber Ducky, the actor. I was about to start taping things, but then I realized that the sound effects are going to go off again.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think I could just turn them off.
Yeah, that might be, but wouldn't that turn off your... Here, sorry, I'm just going to look up Convoy movie. Oh, it's 1978. It's even earlier than I thought. Oh, is that... Oh, that's why I was thinking it was Chris Christopherson, because he played Rubber Duck. And Chris Christopherson's pretty famous. And then there was a guy, Burt Young, played Pingpin.
I did not turn them off. I thought I did. I was testing to see if I turned them off. I didn't.
Oh, accidental sound effects are my favorite. So I remember when I was a kid, I liked the character Pigpen. So he was a truck, and in his truck was all pigs, and it stunk, and everybody would get mad if he was driving in front of them because it smelled like pig poop.
Oh.
Yeah, so what happened? Oh, Ernest Borgnine's the bad guy in it. He's a good bad guy. So here, let me just read you the synopsis. Trucker Martin, Rubber Duck Penwald, and his buddies Pigpen, Widow Woman, that was that African-American lady I was talking about, and Spider Mike use their CB radios to warn one another of the presence of cops. But conniving Sheriff Wallace, who's played by Ernest Borgnine, is hip to the truckers' tactics and begins tricking the drivers through his own CB broadcasts. Facing constant harassment from the law, Rubber Duck and his pals use their radios to coordinate a vast convoy and rule the road.
Wait a minute. Wait.
That's the whole synopsis.
The sheriff is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to enforce the speed limit.
Yes. So it just sounds like
just speeding propaganda. That's what it is.
Yeah. This is
kids don't watch Convoy.
Yeah.
Stay within the speed limit.
It's just full of bad morals. Bad role models who will only teach you and glorify breaking the law.
That explains so much about you, Dale.
Yeah, this was one of my earliest influences. It's why I bought a semi-trailer and sped and broke the law. And then when the cops tried to stop me, I didn't.
You found other truckers to help you.
That's like
create a convoy.
The synopsis of this whole movie is the cops are trying to stop them, but they don't. And in the end, the truckers drive away. Spoiler alert from the 1978 movie Convoy. I think the truckers get away with it.
They get away. So they don't get a ticket. That would be the big...
I think what happens is the truckers, one of them gets put in jail, like wrongfully, like when they're partying or something in a town, and then it turns into this whole like truckers deserve rights too. You know what? I'm probably gonna have to rewatch this movie just so
wait. So the trucker gets put in jail for what? Getting drunk at a party, and then they're like truckers have rights too. So truckers should be able to drink and not get arrested.
Yeah. I mean, in a small town, everybody should be able to get drunk.
I don't think that any trucker should get drunk and then start trucking.
Well, they weren't trucky. They were.
It's like we have the right to drink and drive and speed.
They weren't like mid trucking when they got in trouble. I think they were pulled over for the night or something in a local. Like, you know how in the 80s and I guess the 70s, all those movies were like, in a local bar, it's terrible. Don't be a person who goes there. And
Yeah.
you'll just get harassed by the locals.
I kind of want to watch Convoy now,
I know.
even though I have zero interest in watching it.
I feel like I might have oversold it by trying to tell you how bad it was.
Yeah. On my podcast, I'm going to rip you a new hole if it's bad and I watch it. Just like right in the middle of doing some serious subject, I'll be like, Dale from Outrage Factory.
You'll be like that movie that Dale spent a half hour convincing me not to watch because it's terrible was terrible. And now I'm upset.
Yeah. I'm going to do an entire episode called Fear of Outrage Factory.
Fear of Convoy. Or Fear of Truckers.
Fear of Truckers. That'd be a fear. I think that could be a fear because think of all the horror movies of like truckers that are like serial killers.
Oh yeah,
what was that one where it was about the trucker that had the big shack full of like skinned bodies and stuff like that? Didn't he make a suit out of it? No, that was Leatherface.
I'm not sure. I know.
You know, that horror about the trucker.
Yeah, that horror movie where people died and it was scary and stuff. And the bad guy was a trucker. Yeah, there was a lot of movies where the bad guys were truckers.
Yeah.
Oh, how's this? I got an idea. Don't watch Convoy. Instead, watch the greatest trucker movie ever made, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that would be one worth rewatching for sure.
It is so deliciously cheesy. It's amazing. It's like, you know those super fancy restaurants when they're like, would you like cheese? And they have like half cheese wheel and they like melt it with a blowtorch and they scrape it off.
Rachetta?
Yeah, they scrape it right off onto your plate. Big Trouble in Little China is that cheesy. And it's also that delicious.
Yeah.
So
because that's with Kirk
Russell.
I was gonna say Kirk Douglas. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah. Okay, how's this? Remember before when we were talking about watching all the Batman movies? Don't do that. Just go watch all the old cheesy Kurt Russell movies and not Convoy. Watch Captain Ron, Big Trouble in Little China, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
I've never seen Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
I can't remember it. Heat? Was he in Heat? No, that was Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. That was a different Batman. Oh, wait, Kurt Russell wasn't a Batman. Kurt Russell would be a good Batman, though.
Oh, especially now if he did old Batman.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
he should totally play old Batman.
If they did Batman Beyond right now.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Was Kurt Russell in Romancing the Stones? Was that Kurt Russell?
That was Kirk Douglas.
Oh, why can't I get my Kurt's right?
There you go. That was you. So you wanted to say Kirk Douglas before, but I
just brought it back later to the reference I made earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
COVID is a great time to rewatch old movies, though. I've been doing that a lot.
Oh yeah. Like and just like it's a good way to catch up on movies that you didn't see. Like what did I just watch? Oh, I just watched Stephen King, the second part of It.
Oh, I heard it wasn't very good.
Whoever told you that
was wrong.
Is a dirty liar, because that movie is so scary. I don't know. Scary movies are like, as soon as something's like creepy and jumpy, oh man. Did you like Did you like the first part of the remake?
Yeah, I like the first one. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, this one's that good or better.
Yeah. I kind of Jen's not a big fan of oh yeah, right. Jen's not a giant fan of scary movies.
Neither is Andrea.
I kind of like them. Like, it's not something I when I see a new scary movie, I'm like, oh my God, I have to see that.
Yeah.
But because I like psychological horrors more than cheesy horrors. Like,
well, this one's not really psychological. This is a monster movie.
But I thought that the first It movie was pretty good because it's kind of psychological, kind of. Like, it's not just, I don't like horrors that are just like blood for the sake of blood and just over gore.
Oh yeah, like gore porn.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
just
like that.
Let's see how gross we can be. This isn't like that. No, this is just like the first one where it's like your biggest fear is used against you, pretty much. Like that was the whole
Yeah.
idea of it. Was it's like an alien? I think it was.
Yeah.
What was that?
Pennywise is an alien.
Yeah, that big
Well, he's
spider.
from another dimension.
Oh my god! And they show like how like I'm only going back to. Did you watch the old the one that was a miniseries from the 80s?
With no, with Tim Curry. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay, well, anyways. Oh, so if I actually if I spoil it for you, it's spoiling it. Like you haven't
Well,
seen the
I
old one?
know the story of it. Like I know the Dark Tower and all of that.
What's
Stephen King.
I don't know the Dark Tower. I just know
Well, the
it.
fact that that it comes from another dimension, the dimension that Dark Tower takes place in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a
All
movie I'm
of
gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch Dark Tower. Did you watch
I would
that?
not recommend watching the movie, but I would recommend reading the books.
Reading books.
Or at least listen to the audiobook.
Maybe.
The movie wasn't great.
But it has Idris Elba in it. Isn't he like one of
Idris
the best
Elba
actors
was
ever?
not bad in it.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey was not great in it, though.
Yeah, he's hit or miss. Like
It was a
sometimes,
weird choice for that
like
role, too.
sometimes he's just like super sweet. And other times you're like, it's like funny because you're like, you see Matthew McConaughey, you're like, super sweet. And then you see like Matthew McConaughey and you're like, sweet.
Well, they rewrote the movie to be very different from the book,
Hmm.
which is strange because I think Dark Tower, the first one, is probably one of like it would be so easy to make into a movie, just
You'd think that.
almost word for word, or exactly what happens in the book.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They just changed it around a lot, and it just was not as good. But
So
I also wonder if they tried to make it into just one movie because Dark Tower is what, 4 books, I think,
sure.
total, four or
I
five,
don't
something like
know.
that. Anyways,
All the fans already know this, but I don't really read that many books because
yeah, I'm not much of a reader either.
there's just so much other stuff to do, like video games and movies like Convoy.
Podcasts, got to listen to
Yeah, I
podcasts.
gotta listen to podcasts. I'm thinking about getting into books on tape because I do listen to a lot of podcasts, so that'd be a
Yeah,
lot easier. Oh, I was
yeah.
gonna ask you, did Spotify approach the Fear of Science with a hefty payout like they did one Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah, yeah. Giant payout.
Yeah.
I'm a
Are
multimillionaire
are
now.
you getting $100 million to put all of your stuff on Spotify like Joe
Yeah,
Rogan
yeah.
did?
You know what? I've got integrity. So if they approach me, I'd be like, no, I won't do that.
You're like, I have integrity. I'm going to put this on YouTube for free anyway. Yeah. What do you think of all that?
um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I think it's weird of Spotify to do that kind of exclusive content, especially for podcasts that are so kind of universal. I think that's a lot of the appeal of a podcast is that you can kind of use your favorite podcasting app to download it. You can listen to
Yeah.
it so many different ways. Like for ours, you can just go to our website and you can listen to it there totally for free if you want.
Or you can go to like Apple Podcasts. I was just looking it up and I was surprised at how many there are because Outrage Factory is like you can go on your website, you can go to Apple Podcasts,
Yeah,
iTunes, and then there's like a couple more. We're on
yeah.
Spotify, but our feed got effed up and the last ones haven't uploaded, so
Oh, really?
I
Yeah, we're
gotta
on Spotify.
I gotta figure that out. I guess I'm not gonna get paid out for $100 million if I can't even figure out how to get all of our episodes on there.
You were that close
Yeah,
until, yeah. They're like, well, obviously you can't even upload the last two, so.
yeah. I don't know. I think overall though it's good because it's like because everybody's gonna see this. They're like, whoa, $100 million for a podcast. And the thing about Joe Rogan's podcast is it's like whether you like it or hate it, Derek's not a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. But it's
Yeah,
like he's always non-formulaic and he's always like do what you want to do and all this stuff. So it's really good because it's gonna push, I guess, the medium in a direction that's not I guess as formulaic as say radio or TV has
yeah.
become. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
not.
the good thing about podcasts is you could talk about anything and your fans will find you kind of.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not a big Joe Rogan fan either. I agree with Derek, but
That's fine. I
but
mean,
I'm glad he
yeah,
exists. I'm glad that his voice is out there because
yeah,
it is a voice that people do identify with. And yeah, but I think the thing that bugs me the most about it is not necessarily Joe Rogan, quote unquote, selling out or whatever you want to call it.
hmm
I think it's the fact that Spotify is trying to make things like that proprietary now.
yeah.
Um,
That's actually a good point. I never thought about how they're kind of trying to maybe monopolize podcasts by buying because they bought up Joe Rogan in February. They bought up the last podcast on the left where they
yeah,
did. It's like a true crime
broadcast.
podcast that they took all they did. It was the exact same deal, not for 100 million. I don't think it was ever disclosed what they got, but like you can only find those podcasts on Spotify now. And it's kind of a pain in the ass because I listen to podcasts through my iPod and
Yeah.
you can't get a podcast from Spotify to your iPod.
Well, and I think that's the part that bothers me
Hmm
is that like I can say, oh, listen to the Fear of Science on whatever your favorite podcasting app is, but it's
Yeah.
going to get to a point where it's like, oh, listen to the Fear of Science, but you have to download the Stitcher app first, and then you can listen
Oh
to the Fear of
yeah.
Science because that's the only one we're on. Um, and there's so much stuff that it's all this exclusive to this platform content, and I understand they need to sell subscriptions,
Yeah.
but
I
on
don't
the
think
other
Joe Rogan needs to sell
no,
subscriptions.
no,
Oh, do you
but
mean Spotify?
Spotify
Yeah.
needs to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Joe Rogan's doing all right.
Especially with that big hunk of change. Yeah. It's funny because I have Spotify, so I can listen to these podcasts. So so it's annoying. It's like my complaining about it is even more annoying because I have Spotify. I can listen to Spotify anywhere I want on my phone, but while I'm at work, like grinding and smashing stuff with a hammer, I don't want to have my phone in my pocket in case I
Yeah,
smash it. So I have my little iPod, which is
I don't
like
care
it's
about.
not like $1,000 phone. It's like $150 iPod that's like
Yeah,
4 years old. So
yeah.
yeah. And that's another
As
thing too. Like if you don't like I already pay for Spotify just because I like it for music. So if you don't do that, it's like you can't get it for free anymore.
yeah, and I'm also being annoying because I have Spotify too, and I really enjoy Spotify.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
love
listen to
it.
podcasts and stuff
Yeah.
through it. I mainly use, um, oh, I can't remember the name of the podcasting podcast addict. Or no, I can't remember. Anyways, one
I've
of those
never even
apps.
heard of Podcast Addict.
That's not the one I use. It's totally something else. But
Oh,
anyways, I can't remember the name of it. But
but
one of
yeah.
those programs that do it.
Yeah, I pretty much only use iTunes, which I should probably get off of because that's proprietary too. And I've actually been having more and more problems with it where like the podcast lists aren't populated or whatever automatically. So
Yeah. But
yeah.
I feel like there's so many of these. Is the thing that annoys me the most is streaming television platforms. That there's just so many, and I'm going to sound like an old man here, but there's so many of these streaming platforms coming out.
Yeah, it's like you're like, oh, I got to get the streaming, and then it's like I have Crave, Netflix, Disney Plus,
Yeah,
and it's so annoying because you're like, oh, I want to watch this show I heard about, but you don't know really what it's from. Like
yeah, yeah,
a lot of the times you're like, oh, Netflix is there. Oh, but like this is perfect to talk about for these old movies because you're like, I want to watch, say, Batman Forever. I haven't watched that in forever, and you're like, I don't know where this is.
yeah.
Where do I find it? I can't just go to Blockbuster to rent
Oh, I
it.
know. I miss those days.
But I
Well, that's
guess,
where you would have known me when I worked at Rogers Video in Kamloops, right?
yeah,
Yeah, we were hanging out
I
at
think
that
that
point.
was
Yeah,
where we first met.
yeah.
Like we met
Well,
at Rogers. Yeah.
you were friends with our mutual friend Lisa, still are friends with.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we largely met as well.
Yeah. And then we
But
started hanging out at Rock Trivia
oh yeah, oh
at
god,
Heroes
those were
Pub.
good days.
Yeah.
The Wild Stallions. our rock trivia band, our group.
I remember it was funny because it was like I was on the journalism rock trivia group,
Right.
and then I saw you guys, and no offense to my journalism crew, but I was like, those Wild Stallions are way cooler than these guys.
We were so much more
So
drunk.
yeah, so I jumped ship and joined your guys' team as soon as I could, and yeah, then
The
we
rest was
became
history.
friends.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was good times. Good
Mhm.
times. Anyways, yeah, I worked at Rogers Video. That was the point that I was trying to get at.
Ladies, Jeff
Lady.
worked at Rogers Video.
My partner is Irish, and she had no idea that Rogers Wireless used to be Rogers Video
Oh, well, I guess.
because she's been here for 10 years, but
Oh, yeah.
it's never been Rogers Video the entire time she's lived in Canada.
Yeah. Or Rogers. Does Rogers still have a cable company where because you used to be able to, like Shaw now, you could get Rogers as a cable provider.
Oh
Can you
yeah, I don't
still?
know.
Yeah. I
I
think
think the fact that neither one of us know if it exists probably means it doesn't.
that's probably it's probably a good indication.
Or it's not doing well. Either one.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to call this bad boy? We've been going an hour and a half.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's
That's
been
a long
fun.
time.
I feel like I'm just hanging out with you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I like this free form like conversation thing. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, maybe shouldn't have gone down talking about Batman for like half an hour, but hey, you get what you get.
You're right. We should have talked longer about it.
Yeah, I think we should go talk about Convoy more. All right.
Love that we talked so long about something I've never even heard of.
Yeah, back to movies from the 70s that you haven't seen and you shouldn't. Yeah, so if people like your voice, give your plug where they can find you, please.
Yeah, you can check us out at thefearofscience.com or on any podcasting app, not specifically Spotify.
And what's your Twitter handle?
Oh,
if
yeah,
people
and
want to
we're
find you on there?
at Science Fears on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then we also have a Patreon as well if you want to support us that way.
Oh yeah, we have a Patreon too. I think ours is Outrage Fact Pod. You can find me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot. The podcast Twitter is, I think it's Outrage Fact Pod. I think most of our stuff is Outrage Fact Pod. If not, Google it. Yeah, you can find us on iTunes or all those other random apps that we said, then the one that Jeff said that I didn't know existed. Find us on there, rate us. This video will stay up on Facebook, so tell your friends to go watch it. Or after I minimally edit it and maybe beep out one or two of those swears, it'll be on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for joining us. And until next time, stay angry.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.